Alright, I've created a new blank publication and attached the data map. And I'm going to create a variable that's going to act as a counter as we work through an array variable. It'll be initialized to 0, and every time we go through a loop, we'll add 1 to it. So I'm going to click on Section, Insert Object here, Insert, Set Variable, click on New, give it a name, we'll call it Data Point Counter. Make sure that it's an integer type. Hit OK. We want to initialize this to 0, so let's give it a label. Click on the value picker. We'll set a constant integer and type in a 0 and hit create. And there's our initialization. Now let's create a repeating data object. And so I click on the initialize data point counter to make sure that's my insertion point. I go to Insert, Control Objects, Repeating Data. In the label, I'm going to type chart data points. I'm going to click on the Browse button here and find the C006 chart data, because that's the repeating record I want to loop through. Hit OK, create. Let's open up the repeating data. And every time I go through the loop, in the every occurrence flag, I'm going to add 1 to that data point counter. So I click here, every occurrence, insert object here, go to Insert, Set Variable. I want to set the data point counter, hit OK. In my label, I'll type in increment data point counter. In the value picker, I'm going to select functions arithmetic. And here I'm going to say add 1 to data point counter. So I'm going to add 1 to data point counter and put it right back in that same variable. Click on the value picker, go to variable, select data point counter, hit OK, click on plus. Type in a 1 down here, hit create, and create, and there's my incrementing. Now I'm going to create an array, and I'm going to store all of the chart data in that array. So I leave it right here on the action increment data point counter. I'll go to Insert, Set Variable. Click on New. The first thing that I want to gather together are all of the service type variables. So do service type. And this is going to be an array variable, so I need an index counter. And so I'm going to use data point counter for the index. So I click in the index box, click on the down arrow, go to variable, select data point counter, hit OK. Make sure the type is a string because that's what service type is. Hit OK. In the label, we're going to type in service type array. Click the value picker, data field. Go into the statement aliases dictionary. Open up the C006 chart data. And find service type, hit OK, and create. And you'll create 3 more arrays gathering the Jan data, February data, and March data.